Hello, and welcome to the Libri Labra Book Club. I am here with my husband, John, aka BookTube Hubby, and also with Book Club VIP member, Tom. And before we jump into everything, just wanted to let you know if you ever want to join us on our book discussions, you can do that by becoming a Book Club VIP member at patreon.com/Libri Labra. There are a few other perks like priority replies in YouTube comments and a custom bookmark, being in a rotation to help us select what books that we're reading, joining a exclusive Facebook group where we talk about the media that we're consuming, and there's a few other perks just for becoming a patron, like behind the scenes stuff, images, things like that. So even if you're not ready to join, that's totally fine. Go ahead and follow on Patreon so you can kind of see some of the things that are going on that are not necessarily exclusive. And for the month of March, we read The Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green. Mm-hmm. And this was your pick.
It was my pick. At least I'm being told it was my pick.
It was definitely your pick.
Yeah, it was something I definitely wanted to make sure that we went through together. And
because I think you had started
right.
it without me.
I was like, nah, I want to listen to this with you, so let's do that. But John Green's The Anthropocene Reviewed is basically a list of his essays. He's actually reviewing specific things or experiences throughout his life and telling you about them and the thoughts that he's had about them. It's quite interesting, in my opinion. I loved it.
So, I mean, they are essays. It's nonfiction. I guess some things could be considered spoilers. So if you don't want to know anything about it and you want to go into it, just without knowing anything about it, then go ahead, make sure that you've read it, and then come back and listen to our discussion.
Does everybody know what Anthropocene means?
No, tell us. Do you know what Anthropocene means?
I mean, what is anthropology?
But what?
I mean, it's breaking it down.
Okay.
What? Do you not know what anthropology is?
Are you going to tell us, or are you going to quiz me?
I'm really hoping that all the answers can be brought forth. I'm not completely sure myself, but anthropology is the study of humans and history, correct?
Man, yes.
Yes.
So Anthropocene
is the review of humanity, or
the
humans.
time period.
Oh, how much time
of humans being, that's the era, like the time of humans being alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Okay.
It's the current geological age.
Yes. Thank you. So
that was how I could not have said it.
So if you want to, Tom, I'll let you start. If you just want to talk about like overall thoughts of the book without getting too specific about any one essay.
When I think the best way to read this book, which I discovered in the course of reading it myself, was taking like 2 of the essays a day and then just reading through them and okay, that was nice, and then go read something else. So I think if you went through the whole thing, it would be like, oh man, it would be a little bit, I don't know about cumbersome, but and maybe repetitive. I don't know. It's not that he repeats himself, but it's just they're all of the same cut of cloth, I guess.
What I can say, it's kind of a lot to unpack.
Yeah. That too. So, but I enjoyed this. I enjoyed the series a lot. So,
I did kind of listen to it in big chunks, and I found it to be emotionally heavy. Mm-hmm. Like it was just a lot to take in. And I know, like, I made a TikTok where I read like the first 2 stories, and I was already crying. So I cried probably like 2 or 3 times while I was reading it. It was just a lot. And I was asking my friend, I was like, please tell me that these get a little bit more hopeful as we go on, because right now I'm just hating humanity. And I think there were some bright spots in there. But hearing about how responsible we are for the extinction of so many animals is really sucky. Like that was...
was that eye-opening? Or did you know about that? You just didn't know how...
I don't think it's, I mean, I'm aware of it and I know of it, but I don't think it's something I ever sat down and really like thought about multiple times, like in such a short period. The other thing that was kind of interesting was, I don't know if did you listen to the audiobook, Tom?
Yes, I think I know where this is going. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so there's extra essays in the
There are.
audiobook that were
Yes.
not in the book. I think like 3.
Yeah.
3, correct.
I know what 2 of them are. I don't know what the first one was though, because it was the one about the bird, and then it was the one about smallpox, I think. The smallpox vaccine, but I don't know what the third one was. So, I did end up getting the audiobook plus the physical copy, and I would recommend that others do the same to make sure you get all of the
full experience.
Yeah,
because there's pictures in the book.
There are pictures in the
some
book.
of the other essays.
Mm-hmm. So, is there what are your?
Oh, I didn't have initial thoughts before this because I already read half the book before throwing it up into the pot.
Okay, but you obviously put a break on your listening to it because you wanted my reaction.
I
but
really wanted to see her and her reaction and be able to talk to her about it when she read it, not like
2 weeks after.
Have her come to me like a month later, going right in the middle of something I'm doing. She's like, "Oh my God, could you just So I wanted to be there to talk about it.
But were there specific essays or reactions that you were hoping for or expecting?
No, I just knew that it was going to be one of those things, and because you called me after one of them, I think, and then I was like, yeah, okay, this I don't remember which one it was, but I think it was after you said you just made the TikTok, so it was after that. But I don't know, everything in this interested me somehow, like every little piece of it, and I don't know if it's how John Green wrote everything, or if it's just I don't know. I like the idea of it's just we're here, we're human, we have this short amount of time to do what we have to do. It's really all about our experiences here. So I don't know. It's just I enjoyed everything in it, and I planned on doing that before going in because I wasn't looking forward to another John Green book until when you said this is just a list of his essays, and then I was like, okay, yeah, I'll read that.
I think I may have mentioned before that when I found out it was going to be a nonfiction book of essays, I actually had no interest in it.
I got more interested in it. You're like, nah.
But not because of anything John Green, because I do love John Green and John Green's writing, and I watch his and Hank's videos all the time. But essay books don't normally call to me or appeal to me. Not that I haven't enjoyed any, but again, I don't go seeking them out. So I was like, meh, I didn't really care. But then the minute I saw that video where he was talking about what the book designer had said in regards to her inspiration for how she colored the book and the paths that she created, and she based it on colors of the sunset and stuff like that. That immediately intrigued me, and that was the day that I pre-ordered the book. So I feel like his essays are very similar to how he styles his videos in the way where he starts them and you kind of watch the whole thing thinking it's about one thing, and then he kind of ends it on something completely different. And it's often just so poignant and impactful, and because he takes you on this journey to feel all these things, and then it isn't until the end that you realize that you've learned something completely different
than what you were expecting.
Yeah.
Right. And that's exactly what he did with this book. Everybody's like, oh, another John Green, but another John Green book. This isn't the same thing. Boom. You learn something.
So, but I can see how Tom would say that it's very similar or maybe slightly even formulaic, but even still, the fact that he could still deliver with that formula every time is kind of, I think, is impressive and fascinating.
I think to flesh out my answer a little bit more, I think it helps to read a couple and then think about them for a bit, and then digest them and then go to the next one, because you read the whole book probably in one sitting and, oh, okay, that was good, but I think it deserves measured, a more measured approach.
I think it also deserves a reread. I will
multiple times
happily reread that. I did a lot of it listening and reading, and that was probably what was making me cry, was that I was getting the full effect of reading it with my eyes. But there may have been one or two essays that I only listened to because I was doing something at the moment. So I would probably want to go back and just make sure I read those, because it's almost always more impactful when I read it. with my eyes.
I don't understand that at all because you get the inflection of the things he's saying. You and like there's, I think just like spoken word has more to
When
it.
I see the words, I feel it in my soul. I don't know how to explain it any further than
Well, that could be a separate video.
Yeah, we probably should do that.
So is there a
Are we-
specific essay that
Are we
you
in
want
spoiler
to...
territory now?
Yeah, I would say we're
I think
definitely
climbing
in
into
spoiler
it pretty
territory
quickly.
now.
Okay.
Actually,
Just to establish, that's all.
Do you want to mention this?
Need to go for it.
Okay, so this is also one of the things that was like making me cry. It's the end pages of the book where
Yeah.
there, yeah, he even talks about the artist who kind of, in his grief, made all those different works of art by drawing circles. And he also made a video about that on his channel where he was, I think the number at the time was like 175,000 people had passed away from COVID. And he wanted to make sure that he understood the weight of that number. And so he committed to drawing that many circles in order to like process that number. So just seeing the book flip open again to see and remember those circles there was, I don't know. It was a lot. It was a lot.
It was
emotionally. It was very emotional. So
there is absolutely a lot to unpack in this. So do we want to talk about each one or do we want to pick specific ones to talk about?
Well, you're the discussion leader, John.
I mean,
Tell us.
like I said, it's kind of a lot. So we start off with You'll Never Walk Alone. Do you remember much about that one?
I don't know unless that was the one where he was talking about, no, actually maybe it was the temporal range where he was talking about his anxiety and talking to Hank and stuff like that. I don't know if I remember that first one.
Tom?
That's about the soccer anthem that they play for his soccer team. I don't remember which one it is.
Correct.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of the book is. I mean, he says in his, like, one of the things I liked about it, like his intro and his I guess it was his intro. He says that not everything is a metaphor, but then he goes ahead and uses like, that paintball is like a metaphor and everything else. And how he doesn't like number readings on things, and of course he does that throughout the book too. So, but no, I think a running theme in the book is the notion of ephemerality and like the notion that we won't be here forever. And I think that's, and you find that I could pick up any number of chapters. The most important one to me was the Auld Lang Syne one. Which said, we're still here, that sort of thing. So, but I think that's one of the themes that runs throughout. So we may be individual, but we are part of a bigger, I guess, communion, for lack of a better word, or collective, yeah. So.
What do you think about the fact that he reviewed everything at the end?
That's my favorite part.
Or about like his ratings in general? I think I found him to be a harsh
critic.
Yeah.
You can usually tell. Because I know there are some people online where they have the text and they have the numeric reviews, and you read the reviews like that is nowhere near a 9. Well, that is nowhere
I think
near
I'm
a
one
2.
of those people. I've definitely given things a 5 and been like, this book wasn't great,
but I liked it.
But I read it really fast and I was invested while I was reading it.
Now, remember the Goodreads readings, is about how you like the book, not necessarily how good the book was.
That's true.
It could be absolute trash, but if you loved it, hey, 5-star it up.
It's true.
I feel a lot better about my ratings now with that reminder.
No, what I had to say went out the window already.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I think they play the theme whenever they win or whenever they lose. Which I think is important.
It's the idea that no matter what happens, it seems like the morale is kept high, and it's you stay fun that way. Nobody's angry. Well, maybe a little.
Yeah, and not the first or last time that music is used in that way in the book. Because, like I said, Auld Lang Syne is one of the chapters, and I think there's a couple other ones, but I can't recall them offhand. So
yeah, humanity's temporal range was the second one. I felt like we started off on a pretty quick foot on that one. And he was just he laid out the facts, right? He was just like, this is what's going on. That was the one that you cried with, right?
I think so, because throughout the book he does a lot to describe his anxieties and some of his OCD, and him saying that despite the fact that he's the older brother, that he looks to Hank to kind of stabilize him and to get a clearer picture of what's really happening, and not just what he's thinking in his head, and how he, when the pandemic started, he reached out to Hank to be like, so what's the deal? And Hank was just kind of like, our species will survive this.
Yeah.
That's all you got for me?
Like,
that's it?
Not the hopefulest of messages. So, to look towards someone specific to kind of stabilize you, and then realize that
just as scared.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it wasn't that long ago. I can't believe this is like the third year. Like, we're the third year into this pandemic. And while I know maybe the government and maybe a lot of people thought it was going to be a 4 to 8 week thing, I don't remember feeling that way. I was like, this has never happened in the history of my life, where we're shutting all these things down and schools are closing. And like, so to me, I was like, we're going to be here for a few years. So, and I don't know if that was my anxiety talking.
I felt the same way.
Preparing for the worst or whatever.
Months is very ambitious.
But yeah, because my son had just started college, and he was like, well, I don't want to be an online student. So he took a leave of absence for like 2 months. Just, I was like, okay, we can do some wishful thinking. Maybe you'll be able to go back in 2 months. But I can't imagine what it was like for people who actually thought it was only going to be, a 4 to 8 week thing.
That's the reason why it was easy to talk them into doing all the things that they did. But I'm jealous that he thought to write so much down. Right. Because during this whole thing,
I like at some point I remember telling myself, this is wild. This is something I've never lived through. Like, I should probably start writing, and I just never did. So now it's
well, I understand a lot of these essays are taken from his podcast. So I don't know if that's written or not, but
I just assumed the ones that were so closely related to the pandemic were more, were newer, or more recent, or whatever.
No. So the next one up is Haley's comment.
Halley's.
Yeah, we don't know how to pronounce it. But going back to the temporal clock one for a second, I think, was that the chapter where he says that, if you had the clock of the earth was the entire face of the clock, we would only be on for like a minute or so?
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
So, just a matter of perspective.
It's true. So, we've only been here for so far. Like, how old our universe might be.
There's a video on YouTube that my son sent me a long time ago that was kind of like showing time, like a lapsed version of time within some kind of ratio. And I think the video is several hours long, but it shows you like the blip that is humanity in that 2-hour video. And that was scary. That was, so I get his anxiety over that in regards to how much time we're going to spend on Earth. It's in the history of the Earth, it's not that long at all.
I mean, we can get into physics and theory later. Cause I mean, talk about this all day, in my opinion. Like, God's debris screwed me all up. So, okay, I just want to make sure Tom wasn't frozen, because
no, I'm
the same position for a minute.
No, I'm here. I guess I should move around more often. So
do we want to talk? How was anything memorable about Haley's comments here?
I mean, some of the things that I remember and that I really appreciate, because we are living in Orlando, Florida right now, is whenever he makes references to doing something in Orlando or in Florida. And when he's talking about towns and locations, and like we know where those things are, potentially have been to them. So I think he said something about, was it Oviedo that he said he went? I thought it was, or Ocala. It was either Ocala. Yeah, I think it was Ocala. He said he went somewhere in Ocala to go with his dad, to go get away from the light as much as they could to be able to see the comet.
There's a good national park there.
So that was kind of like something memorable about that to me. But
I don't remember what I was doing when Halley's Comet came through. I think I was too young.
But I think towards the end of the essay, he kind of says, you know, if we measured life in Halley's comets, and he kind of goes back into the past in regards to how many comets ago certain things happened and where we were. And and I think that's just his gift, to be able to put things in such a way that most people haven't stopped to think about.
It's true.
You know, especially in this case, to identify something in the night sky, and then, you know, a couple, was it 70 or 80 years later, oh, hey, there's the same thing. It's the same one that was here, you know, 80 years ago. That's a heck of a feat to figure that out.
Back then, someone would have had to have gone to the, like, ran to the library and been like, when did this happen again? When did this happen again? So that's interesting. So the humanity can't even, like, keep up with something like that, you know? As long as we keep documenting, we...
Yep.
Crazy. Keep writing, people. Keep writing.
And keep doing science.
So, our capacity for wonder. Is that the Gatsby one?
No, was it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, he talks about the guy stepping up onto the beach and the line from the book. And holy crap, was that an essay right there.
I thought that was a really good one.
Absolutely.
Especially, and I'm glad that I recently read The Great Gatsby, because or else I wouldn't have understood it in the way
we would
that
have had to have gone back and read The Great Gatsby now after reading this if we hadn't done so beforehand. Yes.
He said a lot about the author. No, go ahead. Go ahead, Tom.
And I was about to say, is this the one where I think it was him who said, you know, he has to sometimes remind people that Tom and Daisy are the bad guys in the book?
Yeah, because he said he stayed at like the Gatsby suite in some hotel, and then that he felt
it was ominous.
He felt uncomfortable and very privileged that he had to be asked to move to a different suite because the chandelier was tinkling too much and couldn't let him sleep. But I think the part that stuck out for me was where he was talking about the author's success and how poorly reviewed The Great Gatsby was. And it wasn't until he passed away. And then I think it was like, I don't remember the name of the program, but they were sending the books to the soldiers in wartime. Yeah, in World War I. And there was a quote in there that was like, books are the weapon in the war of ideas, which I thought was like, that's like a tattoo-worthy quote. I feel like I thought that was a very strong quote. Might make a bookmark out of it or something.
I'm surprised you said tattoo.
But I don't have any. But just thinking about like the life of a writer or anyone that creates art, really, how you have like no control over your art after you kind of release it into the world. And it's unfortunate that a lot of times that art becomes so much more popular after
you're gone.
The artist is gone, so they can't even
get to enjoy the
I mean, you know, that's probably not why they created it and not the point, but like, you know, I would imagine it's more fun to be like, oh, all these people like what I did.
Yeah, they are. They're somewhere else. They're in another realm, just enjoying themselves. I don't know how that works. Some more to add?
Just that it's also interesting that he said that the pendulum swings in regards to the perception of The Great Gatsby in regards to the American dream. You know, that sometimes people see it in a very positive light, and sometimes they see like the actual negative effect of striving for the American dream in such a way, and capitalism and stuff like that.
Each one of these essays has like a hidden gem of a meaning inside. Like each one, like it's impressive how he writes these.
Did you have anything else to add about this one, Tom?
Let me think. To be honest, I was preparing for the next one.
Yeah.
No, because in another book I read, they had something about the Lascaux cave paintings. I wish I was trying like it wasn't something that Green covered in his essay. So I was trying to look for it while I was saying. But no, for this one, let's see where we're at here.
Our capacity for wonder with the Gatsby essay.
Yeah. I've read Gatsby a few times, and also the book we read, the
Chosen and the Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's some good writing in there, and we can be cynical, and and with doom scrolling now being a thing for a lot of people, you can miss that. You can miss the little things, the little beautiful moments in life, just because you're so focused on, oh my God, the world's coming to an end. And to quote, I think it was The Incredibles, the world always needs saving. So, I mean, at some point.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So.
Well, excuse me, while you guys move into the Lascaux cave paintings, I'm going to run to the restroom real quick. Here, you hold on that for me?
Okay.
I'll be right back.
So.
Yes.
I thought like the essay about the cave paintings was pretty awesome because I didn't realize those people had still been alive.
Right.
Like it sounded so distant when I was reading it, but then he was like, oh, and so did this and did that. And it's interesting that, we did all agree to close it off, to preserve it.
Right.
Because it seems like, I don't know, I was just not being very hopeful about humanity in a lot of this. So it just seems like, someone would want to make money off of it and not preserve it.
I think one of the points I remember from that essay is that, humanity, at the time the cave paintings were created, was still thinking about the same things.
Yeah.
Which I thought that's interesting. We're still making art about the same things, in other words. So.
Yeah, the hand tracings. But he also mentions how the story kind of changed, and sometimes there was a dog and sometimes there wasn't a dog in the story. A dog named Robot.
Okay. Sorry about that.
All right.
Did you put everything on pause? Or what happened?
I mean, a little bit.
Okay. So Lascaux cave paintings.
Yes. What would you like to share about that?
I didn't have anything to. I mean, outside of the fact that we have another, almost like a Theseus ship going on here. Like, is it really the cave paintings? But I mean, we still recreated them, and there are the things again. But so I did enjoy that one a little bit, but I don't think I held on too much from that one.
So, do you think those paintings still inspire as much wonder, even though they're like recreations and not necessarily original?
Maybe if those people read John Green's essay as well.
I mean, in a sense, I don't think it matters if it's a reproduction or not. I mean,
no,
because I mean,
it's all about the belief behind it.
Yeah, because I remember being in Germany, in Leipzig, I believe, and if you ever read Goethe's Faust, they talk about a Ratskeller there where the students go and drink. And I went to that the Rathskeller, not knowing there was a copy, because they do have the original. Original still exists, but that was being used for a diplomatic function, and I was perfectly happy in the reproduction. I would not have known. Same thing. Going like to Independence Hall. I think that had to be rebuilt at least partially, or again, Ship of Theseus. It's the same, but it is different.
Mhm.
But you still walk into there, and at least I do. It's like, yeah, something important happened here, because you just feel it when you step into the building. So
I think it's time we visit the Star Wars exhibit at Disney then.
The $20,000 a night one, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Wild Hotel. Were you able to find what it was that you were looking for, Tom?
Not yet. I'll find them sure after we get done. You bugger.
Well, you want to come back to the Lascaux cave paintings?
If I find it, yeah. If not, then I'll just post it on YouTube.
Well, the next one is scratch and sniff stickers.
Oh boy,
how'd you guys feel about that one? It definitely brought back some. I remember he actually described some of the stickers that I remember literally. Like it's the little taco one on its side. The little. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
I have scratch and sniff bookmarks
I know.
that I bought not that long ago.
Not that long ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like within the last couple of years.
Scratch and sniff. I don't think it's going to go away because of like how long it lasts.
Mm-hmm. You may outlast the natural things with which they're supposed to
be associated with. Yeah.
Everybody's going to believe that bananas tasted like banana Laffy Taffy.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is not what a banana tastes like.
Now I know artificial banana has such a artificial banana taste. Like.
Yeah, but if that's all you ever had,
I know.
you wouldn't know.
All the robots are going to think that that's what all bananas tasted like.
It reminds me of that one line from the conversation that they had in The Matrix. Spoilers for The Matrix, although that's sort of an old movie now. Not really a spoiler, but just one of the lines dialogue. Do you suppose, what if the aliens didn't know how anything tasted, so they make everything taste like chicken? Which, is possible. And as we heard from, as we found out from Patrick Hail Mary, your senses determine your experience in the world, both good, bad, or indifferent. So I think that's important.
Indeed. Everybody's experience with each individual thing is individually different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, try to describe how you see blue to somebody. You really can't. And it's such a basic thing.
So
I imagine he'll never throw away that notebook. That book that he has with all the scratch and sniff stickers.
No. 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 Next one is Diet Dr. Pepper. Something so human.
Have I ever had a Dr. Pepper? I feel like I must have, but
Diet?
Probably
or just
no.
Dr. Pepper?
Probably regular. I probably accidentally had.
I know you've at least had a sip of mine.
Yeah, that's yeah.
And speaking of artificial flavors becoming the norm, that's exactly he says. That's exactly what Dr. Pepper is. It's an invented flavor.
100% artificial.
Yep.
That's
artificially.
I thought that was like your favorite drink.
It was.
Till when?
Water. Till I learned water was so much better for me.
So much.
I still like the Dr. Pepper, but I really didn't know it was literally derived from everything, all other derivatives.
I didn't know it was that like lab made, chemically made.
It's so suicide soda. Like everybody went across the whole board and was like, "Yeah, that was good. Let's make a soda out of that."
Because just now eating food-like products that taste so chemically made is just like.
But why doesn't Dr. Pepper taste like chemicals?
But that's not what was said in the essay. Some people were saying that it tasted very chemical.
I mean, some people. I mean, if I honestly can taste what a Diet Dr. Pepper, what the difference is between everybody's lying through their teeth when they're saying there's no difference. Fuck that. I could taste the cans. No, but I'm saying like, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Because they each tried the Zero. Even did you see what the Coke just came out with another? Apparently,
No, I
Coke Zero
stopped
and Diet
drinking
Coke
soda
no
like
longer
2 years
exists.
ago.
It's the same thing. What?
I said no. I stopped drinking soda like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah. So there you go. There's no reason for us to talk about the sodas.
But the fact that he said what he was going to save 2 cases of Dr. Pepper to make it through the quarantine, make it through the pandemic.
Just to make sure. I don't know. Interesting idea.
I'm kind of surprised there. Like, I know there has definitely been breaks in the supply chain. I guess I'm kind of surprised it hasn't been more inconvenient than it has been. Like, is there anything that like we haven't been able to buy at all?
Can you go with me to the grocery store next time I go and walk through the store with me so you can see?
The shelves are. I mean, you're still bringing back the stuff that we need.
Some of the stuff.
Okay.
A quarter of the shelves are empty at the moment. I mean, it might not be that bad now, but it might be getting worse. It might not. We might. I don't know. I don't know which direction things are going at the moment. I just know I see some of the stuff is disappearing.
I'm just wondering if he would have been able to maintain his Dr. Pepper drinking this whole time.
It's one of the biggest companies. I'm sure it'll last at least a little while. Shall we move on to the next, or do you have something to say about Diet Dr. Pepper, Tom?
No, I drink Diet Cherry Pepsi.
Interesting. I haven't tried that one. The next one is Velociraptors.
And again, another thing which does not conform to reality, yet this is the reality we perceive. It's part of the trend in this book.
You mean tell me they're only the size of a chicken?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Yep. I said they're more like vultures than they were giant ostrich-sized. Ostrich.
Well, they're obviously
size,
way
not
scarier being ostrich size.
Yeah, of course. With big, crazy claws. Yeah. It wasn't as dramatic. That was the point. How do we feel about that?
I mean, it's a movie. It's Hollywood.
It's a movie. It's Hollywood. I've been lied to my entire life about dinosaurs. It's Hollywood. It's true. She's right.
Well, nobody's ever actually seen one, so it's kind of poetic license.
That's an interesting look. If somebody had to have said that, well, nobody knows what it actually looks like. Just go with it.
Right. Well, that's why the fossils are so important. Putting them together the right way is so important.
That's true.
So,
all right. So the next one up is Canada geese. I didn't know they were ever almost extinct, and I also didn't know that they're now a problem.
Yes.
Never knew.
Which I think is interesting, mentioning that after, we mentioning how many extinct species we made extinct, like at the beginning of the book. And so, well, now we have to manage this one.
Mm-hmm. And we've made quite a few completely comfortable.
Mm-hmm. So
mosquitoes are one of them.
Yep.
We moving on?
Sure. I don't have anything to say about Canada geese.
I mean, we're going to stick with the animal theme here.
It's very wonder-inspiring to see them flying in a V formation.
You do like the V formation thing?
Well, that's what he said.
Oh, that's what he said. Leave it. So we're gonna stay in the animal theme and go to teddy bears.
I kind of feel like this story.
I 100% believe it's just bullshit, but I just
Bullshit.
I growing up, I've heard it many times. I'm like, there's no way the teddy bear came from and there we go.
I think this story made me the angriest.
Well, oh yeah, I can see why.
And that was when I was really like, are these going to get any more hopeful? Because
are they going to get any more hopeful? Yeah, and then we learned that that after the picture was taken,
like just that, I don't know, because it made me think of global warming and some of the photographs of like the polar bears, being emaciated and not being able to find food and like, just really struggling to survive. And the fact that he ends the essay being like, I think he says something about how many bears are left or what happened to the bears, but that like teddy bear sales are up. And it's just, I don't know, that was really angering. That was just heartbreaking and upsetting and just angering. I don't know how else to describe it but that.
Consumerism, capitalism,
All of that.
Human
caring more about a stuffed animal than the actual animal that it was based off of. That we should be doing stuff about.
There's a lot we should have been doing about like for a while. Should we actually be trying to find the underlying morals of each story too, or are we just flying through it real quick?
I mean, we're like 41 minutes into the discussion. So
the Hall of Presidents?
How deep you want to get into each one.
I've experienced it once in my life. I was 11 and didn't care at all.
Oh, this is where he was talking about Disney, right?
Correct.
Yes.
I got lost with John Green in a trench coat.
She couldn't let go of the idea of John Green wearing a trench coat and having an emo face, apparently.
Yeah.
So are you telling me you blew right through that, just going like, I can't believe he was in a trench coat?
Yeah, I don't remember that. I remember that there was Disney in there and how much he hated Disney and how his parents won tickets to go to Disney, but I don't remember the Hall of Presidents part. I don't remember how that one ended.
How it ended?
Yeah, like I don't remember the whole point of that. I remember, again, like I said, how much he hated going to Disney and how much he didn't want to go to Disney. And
he had sat through and ridden the Hall of Presidents over and over while writing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get that right?
That sounds right.
But I don't remember because all of them have a full circle for themselves.
Yes, I know. And what I'm telling you is that I don't remember the full circle on that one. Do you, Tom?
Let's see.
What was you talked about most in that one?
Well, I mean, what I remember from it is, how, I'm sure they were modern when they were created, but it's been how many years now that this has been on? And, who does animatronics anymore? Not even Chuck E. Cheese. I mean, they probably are the only ones, and they look creepy as hell.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's, indeed.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe it's an idea whose time is come and gone. Who knows?
Right.
Could they do the same thing with holograms today? Maybe. I mean,
well, I'm still waiting for the House of Tomorrow. What does that look like now? Because back then it was what the Jetsons have. We have all that stuff now.
Mm-hmm. So,
I apparently have not spent enough time at Disney.
I think we should at least visit once.
It's so expensive.
It's true. I know people.
I know.
No people. Okay.
Air conditioning. 5 stars in my opinion. I don't know what you guys have to say about it, but I think it's very necessary in Florida.
What did he give it? He better have given it 5 stars.
I don't remember.
There were definitely like a few where we were like, really? 3 stars?
Well, he talks shit about some of them. Some of them don't deserve 5 stars.
Not that you would give everything 5 stars.
No. Are you waiting? I thought you guys would chat while I was looking.
I don't remember what he was saying about air conditioning.
He talked a lot about just how we've changed the planet.
Yep. Just by living here.
Oh, wow. He talks about it a lot right away. Yeah, that's kind of a... Don't remember much of that one. I'm going to have to reread that one.
I might have to also. But I think it's not that I don't remember the story, is that he takes like the scenic route. He takes the scenic route while telling the story, so a lot of it doesn't seem like it's relevant to the topic until he wraps it up.
Yeah, and you know, he points out that while he's extremely grateful for it, you know, we do have to change our notion of what climate control means.
So. It's true.
I know my son keeps talking about wanting to visit New York, and I'm like, okay, just know that there's not central air everywhere over there. He's trying to figure out, like, you know, what season he wants to visit New York in, because he doesn't want to be there when it's snowing.
You don't want to be there in summer either.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if you want to be there in summer either. You're going to be in the hot subway waiting for trains. It's very uncomfortable.
Everybody's sweaty and stinky.
But...
the next one up is Staphylococcus aureus. Who ended up with a staph infection?
He did, I thought.
And meningitis eventually too?
Is that not the same one?
Oh, he got a staph. Okay, all right. So is that does the staph cause the meningitis?
I feel like
that
is
the Staphylococcus gets in his meninges. Yeah, I think I recall this.
Yeah. Oh no, well, because viral meningitis is over here.
He still talks about it, man. Yuck. Nobody likes getting sick. Then he talks more about the pandemic there too, doesn't he?
I'm surprised by I mean, I guess all humans have stories of things they've endured and illnesses and broken bones and hospitalizations and stuff, but maybe because he's such a public figure, I was surprised to hear he had meningitis or that he was in a bike accident and had to have surgery for his teeth and stuff like that.
Right.
Well, no, none of that either. The next one up is the internet. How do we feel about the internet?
The internet is a beautiful thing. Although, as with everything, for every good, there is evil.
I think it's balanced, right? At 3 stars. Just going to write even. Just, there's some really good things in here, but there's some really bad things, too. Tom, anything to throw in?
Well, I mean, you guys pretty much said it. It's like, you know, it can be it's a tool like anything else. It can be used for good or evil, or, you know, something inconsequential like cat videos. I mean,
what was the he wrapped into it?
I just recently threw out a collection of encyclopedias from like probably the 80s or whatever, and I just love being able to think of anything and being like, oh, let me look that up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does that mean? And just be able to go down a rabbit hole of information, because I can tell you that unless school demanded it, I was not looking through those encyclopedias to learn things.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I've said it myself that I feel really bad about getting rid of them, but you're not going to use them anymore. So, what good are they?
After he talks about the internet, he goes into the academic decathlon.
Mm-hmm.
So that was he goes into some of the experience he went through with that.
Right, with his close friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had to be the best worst student. Which I thought was cool.
And then we get to the first one that he gave 5 stars.
Which was what?
Sunset.
Sunsets. Yep.
Sunsets.
His first 5-star review was just the beauty and wonder behind the sunset. And so much more meaning behind it.
I texted John right after I read that. I was like, well, at least Sunsets gets 5 stars.
Yeah. This is in total BS.
It was a lot to it, though. It was very hopeful and meaningful.
I remember reading somewhere, I can't remember what science fiction novel, and they pointed out the reason why sunsets are so colorful is because of the pollution in the air. And it needs something to bounce the light off of in that way. So, again, there's a balancing act, Yeah.
It's true. So, Jersey Dudek's performance on May 25th, 2005. We are not football fans.
If you're a soccer fan, yeah.
Well, are you a soccer fan? Do you know anything about this experience?
No, I do not.
Okay. So, yay.
Good on him, but yeah.
Apparently they did a wonderful job that day.
Yeah. I'm sure it's on the internet if you wanted to look for it on the YouTubes.
Yeah. Now, the Penguins of Madagascar.
What made me want to rewatch that?
Oh, do you remember too much about it?
I mean, I can kind of visualize what he was describing in regards to the opening sequence being so 4.5-ish, being so great.
It was creative. Was there more to that essay? You can never get to the meat of it though pretty fast. It's something that's usually wrapped up in it's a couple paragraphs you gotta get into it before that's what he's talking about.
Well, I think from that one is where he's talking about, I guess, the documentary that Werner Herzog was making. And the dialogue goes, tiny and helpless, Herzog says, the babies are frozen with fear. They know if they fall from this cliff, they will surely die. And then there's a moment's pause before Herzog says, Gunther, give them a shove. I was like, holy crap.
I don't know.
That was a fun one.
Oh, I guess I'll have more reading to do later. I don't remember too much on that one.
I don't know if going through them one by one.
No, it's probably not the best. So, Piggly Wiggly, do we have anything on that
one? Just that, because I feel like I've been thinking about it a lot, thinking about how I want to say, in the 40s and 50s, we started creating all that, processed food.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think that really messed us up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's terrible. I think that's why
there's issues with... It was novel back then, so they were like, yeah, let's do it. It's cheaper. But they didn't know what they were doing. And then they did, and they didn't stop it.
Yeah, it just goes to show you what the new normal is. I mean, before it was normal, apparently, to go into a grocery store, come up to a counter and say, get me this, and they would bring it to you, and there you go. Now it's, shop or fend for yourself and hope for the best. So.
Interesting.
Also true that he built it, lost it, built it, and lost it. And the one guy said, that was it Memphis. Memphis was populated, had all these public buildings because of his failures. And I forget which ones. Yeah, there's I think one was a Hall of Fame building, and I can't remember what the other one got repurposed into.
What I think is crazy is there's still Piggly Wigglies that exist.
Here?
No, in Alabama.
Oh.
I don't know.
There might be
some.
Here?
Yeah. There might be some in Florida.
I've seen one when I first moved down to Florida, where that old Winn-Dixie is on 50.
We never had one here. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah, it might.
Because I feel like I remember seeing that.
I never really cared about hot dog eating contests, but I know he had something to do with that. But how do you guys feel about just the hot dog eating contests?
I appreciated the reminiscing of Coney Island.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Talking about Coney Island, it's been years and years and years since I've been there, and the cyclone is no longer functioning.
I didn't know there's that many.
That strikes me as a uniquely American competition.
I can't imagine. I know he was like describing it as like a train wreck that you can't look away from, but like,
I'll pass.
Yeah, I don't think I could sit there and watch.
Yeah, I've surfed past it when I seen it on ESPN and such. So yeah, no, thank you.
Are there like multiple essays about hot dogs?
Yes.
There's at least 2.
Yes, because we have Nathan's famous hot dog. Okay, that one, and then the. Oh wait, there was.
Well, you could say that there's the difference between mindless consumerism and then really appreciating something. As a singular experience.
The hot dogs of another place. I don't know how to pronounce that. That's later.
I have the audiobook and I don't have it like in front of me, so I can't play with that part. But
the yips. Do you hate the yips?
I don't know if I fully understood the yips.
That was one of my favorites. That was my first favorite in this book.
Really? Why?
Yeah. Because it showed how people overcame their yips, and like, for example, the one picture he was talking about, he was always dead on with his pitches. Then for whatever reason, he wasn't. Like it was like a switch turned on, and he just couldn't hit the strike zone. And it's the kind of thing. Well, then once you start thinking about it, there's no way you're going to be able to do it. So he said, well, he eventually came back as an outfielder. He just reinvented himself, and he had a very accurate throwing arm, as an outfielder. So I don't know, or there was the other one, the tennis player, who could not, who I guess when they threw the ball for the serve, it just went awry. So you think such a simple thing, but it's like I said, once you. So I thought it was a good coming back from behind sort of a story. It's like okay, your usual way of navigating the world has changed. How do you change with it? And they were successful. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one.
And then Old Lang Syne is the one after that.
My second favorite, yes.
Old Lang Syne. Okay.
I thought that was a really good one and memorable one.
You got something for it, Tom? This is the second favorite?
Yeah, because the song of course is nostalgic and such, but the way it's used in Going to Green is to establish the fact that we're here, we exist, kind of like a Horton Hears the Who sort of a thing, where he mentions it being used in the Christmas truce of 1914, where they on Christmas Day, the Germans and the British and French had a soccer game on Christmas Day. So see, there are all these things that are connecting together, like soccer and everything else. But they sang Auld Lang Syne, and also, I believe Stille Nacht, because everybody knows their version of the words, and everybody knows the tune. So it just shows the commonality of people. And then the next day they go back to shooting each other. It's like, well, what the hell is up with that? So yeah, I really enjoyed that chapter as well.
I really liked Googling strangers.
Because?
That was like the third point in the book that made me cry. He's talking about being a chaplain, and he mentioned that a little boy came in with very major burns, and how he tried to help the parents, and that I think he said that memory is just like engraved in his mind, that he can't ever forget it, and that he often prayed for the boy and just thought of him all the time. And that as he's telling it, I really did not think the story was going to end the way it did. Like, I thought he was going to say, not really remembering what the title of the essay was, but right. I thought he was just going to say that he chose not to because he couldn't handle the answer. But in the end, he does Google the kid to see if the kid survived. And I thought it was just really powerful to hear that he did survive that, and why John Green felt like Googling strangers was important. But as someone who, has similar anxieties to John Green, the way you try to navigate the world without making other people uncomfortable, he obviously wanted an answer to that question, and it's not like he was going to go knock on these people's door or try to find out through other means. So the fact that he can just Google a stranger and get that answer and get that piece without disturbing anyone else, I feel like I totally relate to that, and I feel like it's comforting.
+1 for the internet.
Right. So I don't know. I thought, and then you could hear him. You could hear him as he was reading that specific story. You could hear how emotional it was for him.
So in that case, he wasn't truly a stranger though, because he was connected to the story. It's not like he just said, "Oh, let's look in the paper and this name," and
Although I guess he was just lucky in the respect that the kid's name was a fairly unique name, that he was able to find him, because he could have been a John Henry, and then
he would never have found him in the mess and the needle in the haystack.
Never would have found him.
So he goes on to talk about Indianapolis, Kentucky Bluegrass, and the Indianapolis 500. Now, Kentucky Bluegrass is that I'm pretty sure that's what he was talking about, is what we keep feeding us laying out for the geese, right?
I don't know.
And then there was a story behind that one. But then Indianapolis is its own essay, and then Indianapolis 500, the racing part. You want to touch on any of those?
I mean, I don't have anything specific to say about any of those.
Tom?
Well, with Indianapolis, I think his change of perception in the course of his essay that was interesting. It was something along the lines of like how I guess he didn't appreciate living there in the beginning, because I guess they moved there because his wife had gotten a job there, and then toward the end of the essay, it's like there's a lot to appreciate here. And he was talking about. Oh yeah, he was dissing the road, so it was like something like Dirt Road or something like that. And it's like, who has that? Well, you guys do apparently. But no, it's just that it shows how your bias tempers your changes your view of things. And just says oh, I don't like that. Well, why? So, well, I just don't. And then I forget what changed his opinion though. But he's like, oh, we have the ethnic restaurants, we have this, we have that, and other things, and so it's a pretty good place to live. So
I'd like to visit.
Yes, you got to live somewhere. That's the thing. So that's what.
So, did everybody learn something with the Monopoly essay?
Yes.
Thieves. All of them.
Well, yeah, they have run some interesting social experiments with Monopoly. The one I recall is they were giving certain players like higher starting money and like other advantages and such. And when it turns out they won the game, those players were more likely to say it was because of their doing that they won, when they had all these advantages. Yeah, not realizing.
Wow.
So it was interesting. Not everybody has those advantages. So
I think it's really how you brought up who taught you what. Ready to move on, or what?
Go ahead.
Got more? Mario Kart. Super Mario Kart. I was happy for this chat. I'm sure you were too, right?
I think no. What?
Okay.
I think it was funny. I think there's nothing more frustrating than being in first place and getting hit with a power up from like somebody in the back. So I think he did a great job of just kind of capturing that, but also capturing the nostalgia of playing Super Mario Kart and how it kind of the power ups leveled the playing field a little bit.
Agreed. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, because it is a game, and I know rubber banding is an issue, but if you have somebody who's so far back that they'll never catch up, it's like, well, you got to
That's
get
not
them. Yeah, that's not fun.
It's
So
not even fun.
I mean, and Nintendo does kind of do family games, so
Mhm.
it would make sense that they would kind of.
Let the little guy win from time to time.
Yeah. If not, it's just discouraging. Like, why would you want
It
to play a
is.
game you're gonna lose?
Which, going back to Monopoly, it's just interesting how its cultural um, perspective, or the perspective of culture on Monopoly, is that it glorifies the single winner rather than what it was supposed to do and glorify the collective.
Having fun together.
Yeah. So
The Bonneville Salt Flats. None.
I don't really have anything about that.
Again, it's just another thing I'd like to see just once, just to visit, say hi, take a picture.
yeah, well, that goes along with the speed in the Indianapolis 500, because that's where they test a lot of the cars. Yeah, because it's so flat and such. But
Land speed record and all that.
Mhm.
Hiroyuki Doi, the circle
the
drawings.
dots, yes.
Hiroyuki Doi.
Did you get a chance to look any of those up?
Any of those? Like all of the?
Like the drawings?
No.
No, you should.
Were they in here?
No, they weren't.
Okay.
But you should.
We should look them up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take a look
You
at
should
them.
also look up the drawings of Hiroyuki Doi.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious.
Pull them up over here.
And what about whispering? I like it too.
Well, all the ASMR stuff on YouTube says it's a thing.
Mhm.
So
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
Those, how large are they?
I don't know, but he described one of them that he said looked like an eye. And he made it sound really, really big.
From 1946.
So I don't know how much time these took him. I'm wondering if this one was the one that he said looked like a sideways eye.
It does. I can see it. No
So
pun intended.
he started drawing circles and then couldn't stop.
yeah, because it helps take his mind off his grief.
Yep.
Very interesting. I like them. Whispering?
Whispering. I think what I like about that, again, and just because he talks so much about his anxiety, but then he like demonstrates like a contrast, whether that be his kids or his wife or Hank or like whoever else. So I like the way he was describing like how panicky he was in the moment and how he was trying to give his kid like all these opportunities to hurry up and eat her breakfast. And like she didn't care at all. She was just like whatever she said to whisper in his ear to tell him to like chill out. Whatever
It's a secret.
Mhm.
But I think you get kind of panicky like that when we have to go somewhere to do something.
Because you have no hurry mode. There's no get up
I'm gonna
and
start
go.
whispering to you.
Stop
Like, relax. It'll be fine. It'll be okay. We'll still get there.
Late.
Right. But to the essay's point, it was a good tactic because it got him to slow down, be present, fully present, and listen to her fully rather than keeping an eye on the clock. So,
yeah. I thought that was cute.
Slow down.
Yeah.
Listen. Pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Relax. Okay, so the next few goes into viral meningitis and the plague. Do we want to go down those roads? They seem kind of ominous.
Well, they are, but it just goes to show we've been through this before.
Uh-huh.
We've been through a plague before. And it sucks if you're the one who dies from it,
someone's
sounds horrible.
unfortunately someone's
Yeah,
had to find out.
unfortunately, yeah. But the human, the thing is, it may not necessarily be you, but the human race will likely survive. So,
Thanks, Hank.
well, that's
We will
the thing.
survive.
Yeah.
Humanity will survive.
humanity will survive. Maybe not you, but yeah, that's the thing. You don't know that.
I can't remember if it was the viral meningitis one or a different one, but I know in one of the essays he was talking about how we can never really truly describe what pain is, only what pain is like.
Mm-hmm. Everybody has their own personal experience of it.
Yeah, but I appreciate all the ways that he describes his pain in this book, especially that idea of, when you're in it, it feels like it's going to be never ending.
That's true.
I know that that's something that I try to focus on, is that even though you may consistently feel the pain, like usually each day, it's just a tiny bit less than the day before.
It's temporary.
Just a tiny bit. But for someone so trapped inside his head a lot, like I would imagine that those moments of all-consuming pain like that are just super, super ridiculously challenging to get through. But the other thing that was about like that second hot dog story where he was talking about being in Iceland.
Yes.
There are so many places in the world that I would like to visit, and I feel like anxiety would prevent me from doing it because I don't know, I have weird fears. I'm like so concerned that I will need a hospital in like another country, and who knows what that hospital situation is going to be like, and like what if they can't save me? What if they don't have like what I need? I don't know, but anyway,
any place we visit will be okay enough
to
manage.
The point I'm even mentioning this is because I was like, well, if John Green can travel to all these other places, I feel like
a hot dog.
I can too.
I feel like that just gave me a lot of hope. Like maybe I can sit on a plane for however many hours to go to Europe somewhere. Because just the idea of being on the plane more than 3 hours
don't think about it. You don't think about it until you're on the plane, and then you can also just take a pill and go to sleep.
Oh, I don't remember what story it was either. I think it was like started with an M. It was about like his embarrassing moments and how his brain replays them for him every night before going to bed. Super relatable.
Was that in one of the ones that we've already discussed?
Oh, I don't remember.
Let me see if I see the word. I'll recognize it.
Sure.
Well, this is one of the audio only ones.
Oh, maybe.
Because I think there was one. The first one was melancholy, and I think that may have been.
Oh well, then we found it. We found the other audio one.
Yeah, I think it's
I
melancholy.
don't remember the word, but I'm pretty
melancholy,
sure it started. Was it? No, it wasn't melancholy.
Was that what it was called?
That's what I recall, but I could be wrong.
Oh, okay.
No, it was a word. He breaks down the word too. Crap. Let me see if I can see it in the audiobook. Because it was about his like most embarrassing moments where he's talking about how he went to like an author event and only 2 people showed up, and he did a reading, and in the reading there was a quote.
Oh yeah, where he dissed the audience.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
the only 2 people. Oh man.
That's terrible. Like that's definitely something you're never gonna forget.
We're skipping wintry mix, right? We care about brothel.
Mortification. Is
Mortification.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was an M word. Okay. I was close.
I don't have anything to say about wintry mix. You asked me to play Sycamore Trees twice.
I did.
Wintry mix sucks. I give it 1 star.
All right, moving on. The hot dogs. Wait, you what?
The hot dogs was when he went to Iceland. I really liked that one. Like I feel like there was so much about that one. I know you were listening to it and you were like, I want to go to Iceland. And I was like, but the vibes of that essay, like when he said that the taxi person was just basically, no, get out here. Like he wouldn't take it to the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what is happening? Like, why?
Too stressful.
Why? Yeah, but I didn't understand why. I guess like obviously he was waiting because the end of the game could have gone a different way. You know, what would have happened?
Oh,
if they had lost, like so I know, but just the way he described the eeriness of like nobody being on the streets, and like that has to be very interesting and really intense to just be in a completely different place. And
they'll never walk alone except for Iceland apparently when they're playing handball.
Ominous.
But he said that hot dog, that was a 4-star hot dog.
Yeah, but I think also
5-star. He said 5-star. He said it was
but also too, I think that was also color shaded by his experience
his
with that day.
experience. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciated the Notes app essay.
Am I putting this down now? Is that what you're doing?
No, you can if you want, I guess. I have like often gone back many years later to read something that I've written, and there's such a sense of detachment. Like it's so strange. Like I'll read it and it'll be in my own handwriting and I'll be like, where did I get this from? Like, how? This is incredible. When at the time I can very strongly remember just feeling not great about it and then going back and reading it years later and be like, man, I'm a good writer. That was like, that was good. Yes. But also like leaving notes for yourself and not having any idea what the hell you're talking about. I have a
whole list of notes in my phone that I have no idea what they mean. Going back and look through them, just put question marks next to it. It says, why? What the? I never gave myself enough context.
Yeah, I tried to make sure I give myself enough context because
yes, that helps.
Because it's pointless if you can't remember what the point of it was. So I don't know. I've heard other writers talk about the notes that they leave for themselves. I think Colleen Hoover has said multiple times that she'll wake up out of a dream and write something down in hopes of creating a story out of it or something. And she has shared some of those notes the next morning. The next morning, she don't even know what she was talking about.
Right.
So I thought that was really funny. Apparently, we have to start listening to the Mountain Goats.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I do have one of their albums.
Oh, do you? Is it the one that he mentioned?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I have to look.
I might have to go. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to check out the Mountain Goats.
I thought the essay about the QWERTY keyboard was fascinating. And I didn't realize there were like so many other keyboard options. I probably from like Jeopardy or something like that. I did know there was different ones and that you have to identify like which one it is. But the history of that was fascinating, as was the world's largest ball of paint essay.
Yeah, the big metaphor in that one. You know, you can add your layer and it's going to get painted over and nobody else is going to know except for you.
Right.
That you're there and you're going to pass away, and but your contribution will live on ahead of you. Sort of a thing.
Made me want to go actually put some paint on it.
Yeah.
Where did he say that was? I don't remember where he said the location of that was.
We have the book.
Okay, we'll look it up later.
Yeah, we're already at almost 120. Hour 20 minutes.
3 farmers.
Oh, you should look at those.
I really like that one. That was good. That was a good chapter.
$263.
That's right here. So here's the original photograph that he was talking about.
Wow.
I'm describing.
Everybody with their straight canes. Look at that.
Yeah, but I think like
fashion,
he ends up. I don't remember what he said about this guy, but I think he made him sound like, Don Juan. And I don't know what he said about this guy, but he said that this guy always looked nervous to him, and I can kind of see that in the expression.
That's what you're taking my picture for.
Yeah, it's just so interesting, like, to see them in their Sunday clothes, going, thinking them, them being drafted into the German army, like,
yeah, like not
within the year.
Yeah.
Oh my. 1913 photograph.
Yep.
That's the Flower Day celebration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of them ends up getting killed, and that's where he talks about not knowing the future. It's like we don't know what the terrors are, but we also don't know what the joys are as well. So the only way to find out is to keep going on, keep on keeping on.
Only a few months after the young farmer's photo, August
Yep.
Klein sent home this picture. That's crazy.
The Kauai 001 was very sad. Especially hearing like the bird calling.
Yes.
Multiple times.
Oh no.
I thought that was a nice touch, adding the bird call after describing it. That's one thing you won't get from the text.
Right. It's also very sad. Like the whole thing is ridiculously sad. Like that he recorded the bird making the call and then played the call back, and the bird came back because it never heard someone else play the call, or it never heard the call
back, before.
And to realize that now you got to tell this, or bird's got to realize that was not another bird.
I don't think there's anything more heartbreaking than our inability to communicate with animals. Like, it tears me up inside. It tears me up. I can't even bring my animals to the vet because I can't tell them I'm trying to help you. Like, it's just, I hate it. I hate it. Love animals. Hate not being able to talk to them.
I can talk to them.
And then the smallpox vaccine one. So the Kauai 00 and the smallpox vaccine were the two that weren't in there.
Right.
Plus the other one, what did I say it was? Mortification. Yeah, those three. But I had no idea that vaccination, the word vaccination, came from the word vaca.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of blew my mind. Like, I feel like I should have known that, and I didn't. And I don't know. I was just like, wow. I don't know, that whole thing was pretty eye-opening.
John Green taught us a lot through this book.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he teaches us a lot every day.
It's true. And I said to her the other, when she said something about, we were actually talking about the book. I was like, do you understand how much information this man has to have in his head to do this?
Yeah.
So
you,
so many quotes, so many references, so many, other authors communicating things about life. Mm-hmm. There's just a lot. I think we could probably do final thoughts and ratings.
Yeah. I love that the Anthropocene itself does not get my review, but John Green's review of the Anthropocene gets my 5-star for me.
Just out of curiosity, John, if you could open your book toward the end matter, where they have discovered John Green's critically acclaimed fiction. Is there a blurb below one of the books? The blurb I'm seeing is below the black cover.
I can see it, but I cannot read it.
I can read it.
Yeah.
It says...
It's his last review.
It says, I find ads inside of books a bit gauche, but then again, my publisher tells me they're effective. The hope is that if you've made it all the way to the back of this book, you might be interested to learn that I have written some other ones, and I would like for you to read those books. Have you ever played the game Marco Polo? One person says Marco, and the other players answer Polo. Writing is like that for me. For years, I'm in my basement trying to write, saying, Marco, 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 and then one day, a reader says Polo. Hearing that response never gets old. For me, this is the real thrill of both reading and writing. The connections forged by books make me feel less alone in the way down deep. So if this ad leads to a few more Polo moments, I can't begrudge its presence. I give Backpage book ads 3 stars.
Which connects to the bird, making him call and not getting a response. So I just thought that was interesting to squirrel that away there.
Appreciate you, John.
I have not read 2 of these, so.
And Hank. Both of these.
Oh, this is my second John Green book.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, you've read at least 2 more.
I've read The Fault in Our Stars, and I think that's about it.
No, you read Paper Towns too, because you read it with us.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah.
So
3 then. Out of whatever he has. So.
Yeah, I have a few.
What are our stars?
I give it 5 stars because I will definitely be recommending it to people, whether they read or not, because that's how I roll. And I will be rereading it myself, and I still think you want to pick it up in both physical and, or at least in text and audio format.
Mm-hmm.
I just had I don't know why, but I just had a visual of you taking a John Green book and throwing it at somebody and be like, read it!
Yeah, I'm not violent like that.
No, you're not. That's the reason why it's so funny.
Like, just for the record, that I'm not
like,
violent.
well, I just thought it was funny because she's like, whether they read or not, I'm gonna recommend
because
it.
there are some books that, like, as a life experience, you just want to have, even if you don't read all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I feel like this is one of them. Like, you were even asking if we should recommend it to a friend.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's
She's
like,
right.
Like, if you're a fan of the human experience,
thus far,
and can feel emotions and things, then it's definitely worth.
If you're not a soulless dead robot.
Oh my god. Okay, what's next?
You said 5 stars.
I got
say
5 stars.
Tom.
I gave it 4. I think if they had a few more chapters that resonated with me, like the Yips and Old Lang Syne, I would have had 5 stars. But who knows? If I go back and read it, I may notice other interconnections. Oh yeah, that's good. 5 stars.
I did like that. Some of the essays did kind of touch on each other a little.
They're usually in pairs, yeah. So.
All right, sweet. So for the month of April, we are reading Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaughey. How would you say that? McConaughey. Charlotte McConaughey. Once There Were Wolves. And let's see. It says Flynn arrives in Scotland with her twin sister Aggie to lead a team of biologists tasked with reintroducing 14 gray wolves
I want to just go into
the remote highlands. She hopes to heal not only the dying landscape, but Aggie too, unmade by the terrible secrets that drove the sisters out of Alaska. I will only read the first paragraph since you would prefer to go into it without knowing. You're not going to remember when you start it.
She's right.
But yeah, that was my pick.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking forward to checking it out. And so you'll be able to join us towards the end of the month or the beginning of the next month. Once again, if you ever want to join us on camera as we do our discussions, you can do that by becoming a patron on patreon.com/Libri Labra. If you have made it this far, thank you so much. Be sure to leave a comment. Let us know you were here. And thanks for joining us. So see you next time.
Join us again.
Bye.
Bye.